Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the real Senior Stoner back at you for your Carta 2 and live resin diamond dab of the day. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. As always, when you enjoy today's video, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, send a like, and I do reply to every single comment. Let's get started with today's topic. Many of you who've been watching the channel for a long time know that I was bullied extensively as a young kid, as an adolescent, as a teenager, even sometimes in college. And then in my career, I faced many bullies as superiors. That's right, people I worked for bullied me all the time. But I couldn't do anything about it. Well, guess what? You can. So the topic of today is, how do we handle adult bullies? Some people try to be tall by cutting off the heads of others. That's an old saying. Well, most of us do encounter adult bullies at certain points in our lives. An adult bully can be very intimidating. A boss, a colleague, even a controlling romantic partner, or even an unruly neighbor. You can have a high-pressure sales representative, somebody calling on you, wanting to do something you don't want to do. A family member. Somebody shaming you in social media. And there are plenty of other types of abusive relationships that are categorized as bullies. On the surface, the adult bully can come across aggressive, demanding, and domineering. But with a special approach and assertive communication, you, the victim, can turn the aggression into actual respect. There are ways to successfully handle adult bullies. That's right. Aggressive, intimidating, and controlling people. Now, not all of what I'm going to talk about might apply to your particular situation. Use whatever works. Leave the rest aside. But it's important for us to discuss this topic. How do we deal with adult bullies? I think the first thing we need to think about is safety. The most important priority in the face of an adult bully is to protect yourself. If you don't feel comfortable with a situation, leave. Seek help and support if needed. Even contact law enforcement, a hotline, social agency, or a legal representative if you have to. If you decide to deal with the aggressor, you got to have certain strategies before you start. You got to keep your distance. That way you can keep your options open. Not all adult bullies, you got to remember this, are worth tangling with. Our time, frankly, our happiness, and our well-being is important. So unless there's something critical at stake, you might not want to expend yourself trying to grapple with a person who's negatively entrenched. Whether you're dealing with road rage driver, a pushy salesman, a hostile neighbor, a boss, keeping a healthy distance and avoiding engagement unless you absolutely have to is the mantra. There are times when you might feel like you're stuck with a very difficult person. And you might think you're no way out. It's boxed in. These situations, you gotta break through and think outside of the box. Now you start thinking about other people to talk to and get advice from. Maybe they have a different course of action. You see, your personal well-being is the number one priority here. You got to remember that we're really never stuck unless we have blinders on. So always keep your options open. And always keep your cool. And avoid being reactive. I was told as a young kid, adolescent and teenager, not to fight. I wasn't allowed to get karate lessons, because my father believed in talking your way through it. Well, you can't talk your way through the guy who has half his mouth empty of teeth because he's been in fights all day long. Bullies win when you get upset. You have to remember that. Because a common characteristic of bullies is they project their aggression to push your buttons and keep you, the victim, off balance. And by doing so, they create an advantage, a perceived advantage, from which they can exploit the victim's weaknesses. If for some reason you're required to deal with an adult bully, one of the most important rules of thumb is to stay calm. The less reactive you are to the provocations, the more you can use your better judgment to handle the situation. When I was a kid and they cursed at me and yelled and called me horrible names, I was told to say nothing. Maybe if I was hit, I was told to say, "Why are you hitting me? I haven't done anything wrong." Well, some bullying situations, some may require a strong and assertive response, while others may be handled simply with you being unimpressed. Either way, keeping our cool when we approach these situations, maintaining our composure, will put us in a superior position. You got to know your fundamental human rights. A crucial idea to keep in mind when dealing with an adult bully is knowing your rights and recognizing when they're being violated. As long as you don't harm others, you have the right to stand up for yourself and defend your rights. Now, on the other hand, if you bring harm to others, you're going to forfeit those rights. So, we have human rights. We have the right to be treated with respect. We have the right to express our feelings, express our wants. We have the right to set our own priorities. And we have the right to say no without feeling guilty. You also have the right to get what you pay for. And the right to have opinions that are different than others. We have the right to take care of and protect ourselves from being threatened physically, mentally, or emotionally. And the right to create happiness and a healthy life for ourselves. These are not the United States or United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. These are rights that make logical and sensible life for us. How do you go through the given day? These are our boundaries. Now, our society is full of people who don't respect any of the things I just talked about. Bullies, in particular, want to deprive you, the victim, of their rights so they can control like a puppet and take advantage of you. But we have the power and even the moral authority to declare that it is us, not the bully, who's in charge of your life. And if you focus on those rights and allow them to keep your cause just and strong, you're going to win in the end. You've got to utilize assertive and effective communication. That's right. Avoid interacting unless you absolutely have to, but when you have to, when you're required to deal with a bully, strengthen your position. Utilize assertive communication skills. Look them in the eye. Stare them down. Don't let them take advantage of you. Talk about your experience also. Some victims of adult bullying remain quiet. Think about it. They remain hidden and they suffer in silence. Reasons really aren't limited. They could be anything. They might be scared. They might be ashamed, embarrassed, in denial, feeling helpless, powerless. Could be a social conditioning thing. But a quiet victim isn't only mentally and emotionally unhealthy. It can encourage the bully to repeat and intensify their aggressive behavior. I'll say it again. Silence in the face of being bullied encourages the bully to continue to bully, no matter how difficult the circumstances are. We've got to find ways to seek out trusted individuals to confide in, whether they're family, friends, work, whatever it is, counselors, hotlines. Sharing the experience of being bullied isn't only cathartic, but it will gain support for you and strengthen the ability we have to handle the challenge of the bully. In serious situations, you got to be proactively able to deal with it early on. Formalize your communication. Adult bullies, some of them that need to interact on a regular basis, it's important that you put a stop to any serious or potentially damaging patterns very early. Yourself, you, we, not the bully, should be the one who sets the tone in the relationship. And whenever possible, try to formalize the communication with the bully. Put it in writing. Have a third party be there as a witness. You got a paper trail or an email trail of agreements, disagreements, and timelines. You are going to win. Sorry about that. My mitt just fell out on me. The key here is to have a strong case of facts, evidence against the bully, against the aggressor. And you got to identify maybe Are there other victims of that bully? If you consider possibly a joint formalized response, what you're going to do is leverage the numbers. If you got a bad boss who's bullying you, guess what? That bad boss is bullying everybody else who works for him or her. Think about it. You're not alone. That's the key with bullies. And you got to set some kind of consequence so that you compel respect. When an adult bully insists on violating the boundaries and will not take no for an answer, you got to deploy consequences. The ability to identify and assert consequences is one of the most important skills we can use to stand down the bully. When effectively done, strong and reasonable consequences give pause to the adult bully and compel them to shift from violation to respect. Consequences can be presented in many different ways. The key is to know how to handle the adult bully and to master the art of communication. And as we utilize the skills we learn, we're going to experience less grief, greater confidence, better relationships, and a much stronger communication prowess. We will be the leader. We will be in control, not the bully. Sometimes bullies actually follow you through life. Unfortunately, that's true. The key is dealing with them. You cannot let the bully take over your life. This has been the Real Senior Stoner talking about what I think is a very important topic: how we deal with adult bullies. If someone had told me that at 18, at 21, I wouldn't have dealt with the bosses the way I did. I wouldn't have let them abuse my skills. That's right, abuse my skill set for their gain. What do you think of that one? Don't let that happen to you. Hopefully you're going to replay this video. This is an important one. Any of you are being bullied, and you're going to take some tips, any tips you can find from this, and help yourself so it doesn't happen to you. This has been the Real Senior Stoner. We're about to go out on our Carta. Clear. Here we go. And I think we're going out at about 380 degrees for a nice low temperature dab. Cheers, everyone. Have a wonderful day. And remember, you can handle the adult bully. Cheers. First time, every time. Like a big click. Cheers, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And remember, don't be afraid of the adult bullies. You can do it.